No VirtualBox, right? See, here's the thing: if you have VirtualBox or VMware, then it's fine. I mean, you don't have to use this particular link. But uh, otherwise, what you can do is take 5 minutes and get to this one, and you have to create an account. I think you can, and then you'll be able to use the Linux terminal, right? Yes, I'll just show you the procedure. Go to the site, go to the register, and here you have the username, email address. They'll do a email verification, so you'll either need the proper email, or either you'll need your proper email here, or I mean, you'll have to use a 10-minute mail or something. But you'll receive a mail for the verification purpose. Try using these credentials to log in and tell me if it's working or not. I don't know how many possible logins are there from one particular credentials, but I hope it works. Okay, it's already 24, so we'll have to move on. We are already quite late. And okay, for the next step, once you've created the login, I'll just okay, there I have an inbox actually. Yeah, I forgot the. So now you have to log in, and then you have to click here on terminal. As soon as you click on terminal, and you'll be prompted like this, and here you have to write your login credentials again. Till now, is it okay? uh, what about the rest? At least 10 hands, please. No. uh, where was the problem? Unmute yourself. Tulika Chatterjee. The pass again. The pass is okay. I'll just send the credentials here. Do we need to do anything simultaneously? What? Actually, it's preferable if you, I mean, run the command simultaneously. That would help. Yes. It worked with the temporary mail. After clicking the terminal, what to do? Are you inside the terminal? Do you have how many of you have logged in and you have this page on? This one. Session closed. What happened? Yeah, if you have a virtual box or I mean a dual boot or anything, I mean a virtual machine or dual boot or anything, if you have Linux working on your machine, then you don't need to do this. This is the step for the people who don't have a virtual box, or who don't have a Linux system up and running on the device. So for them, this was the step. Urban Mandal, I have a virtual box. Yes, you have a virtual box, so it's not a problem. It's not needed. Anyway, I'll just clear the unnecessary tabs. Okay, now we can proceed, right? Okay, I'll be doing it on my virtual machine only. I hope the screen is visible. Is the screen visible? I need anyone to unmute and answer because I can't see the A actually.
Yeah, yeah, it's visible.
It's visible, right? Okay. So first of all, let's just discuss about the basic commands, the few basic commands that we have on Linux. First of all, the man and the help. Now, if you use man with any of the command, man is basically manual. Man basically leads you to the manual page of any command out there. For example, if you do man ls, ls is a command which is used to list all the files and directories inside a system. You do man ls, that will basically lead you to the page where you have all the tags and all the all the flags that you can use along with the man command in order to see how the whole thing works, how the how the command exactly works. For example, dash a is do not ignore all entries starting with dot and so on. You can see how the command works. You'll not have to Google every time you need a particular feature of that command. And if you want to escape from the man page, you just do q to quit. That was man. Also, in most of the in most of the years, it's not necessary, but most of the times you have the help command, dash dash help or dash h. Yeah, this basically provides you a small list of all the flags. It's like the man command only, but it normally provides you a smaller list. Also, so what you can do with these two commands is basically you can find out what that command is about, what that particular Linux command, what that particular binary in Linux does, and what are the flags that are available for you to use, and what are the shortcuts that you can use along with that command, and so on. That's the purpose of man and as well as help. Also, if you're not very much comfortable with the terminal situation, since you're starting off on Linux, and then you can simply fire up the browser and just let's say we are trying to search for the man page of ls, then just Google it. I think it's directly available. This is the man page of ls itself, the one that we were viewing. This is the same page. So if you're not comfortable with the terminal, then you can also see it here. You have all the files. Yeah, you have all the tags and everything. Now, no need to be overwhelmed. All these tags, most of these tags won't be that much useful for, that useful for you, because only a few of them will be useful. But it's good to know that how you can get an access to these pages. Is the man command clear? That it was nothing actually. Could I scale? Oh, what? Could you scale up the text? Okay, I'll just increase the text by some amount. The man command is clear, right? Control. Oh. Next, we'll see three commands. Now, first of all is pwd. Pwd, what I'll just show you what pwd does. Pwd is print working directory, the directory that you are on. Currently. So, for example, if I change my, I'll come to the cd command and everything. But if I change my directory to something like desktop and just a minute, cd desktop, cdhtv, cdhtv, uh, this session, right? Now if I do pwd, now it will show you the whole path of the location on which I'm located right now. If I get out of the location and do pwd again, it will again show me the current path. What pwd does is it prints the working directory, the current directory that I'm in right now. Okay, that is the purpose of the pwd, and I'll show you the cd and cd dot command that I've used right here. I think some of you might know these commands, but I'm sorry about repeating the whole thing, but yeah. Uh, this was PWD. Then we have who am I. What who am I simply does is tells you which user you are. For example, here the user is X117. The thing is, in this scenario, it might seem very obvious, then you might not understand the exact purpose of the who am I command. But in case of a non-TTY shell, for example, uh, suppose you get a shell somehow, by a means which is not exactly intended. Somehow you exploit some mechanism which is present inside inside a web application. You hack a particular mechanism and somehow you get a shell inside the system. Shell, when I say shell, I basically mean this command line where you can write commands and get get outputs corresponding to it. So suppose you have a shell like this. I'll just clear. In this case, you don't have anything. You don't have any of the information that you had earlier. So now you don't know the present working directory. You'll have to print it, and then if you want to know who you are, since it's a non-TTY shell, you'll have to print who am I. And also there is the ID command, which is a much more detailed who am I. Basically, it shows you the user ID. For every user, there is a user ID, there is a group ID, and there are groups, and these are not that important. These three are important. For every user, there's a user ID, a group ID, and there are a number of groups. Okay, so by default, the user that is allocated by Linux at the time of login, it's 1000, and here you have 1000. GID is 1000. Group is also 1000. GID, UID, these are the group IDs and the user IDs. I'll just exit out of this shell since it's not reading by one. And also you might have observed that I'm using the clear command again and again. Clear command is there to clear the terminal in case it just, I mean, yeah, just you mess up the whole terminal. Then also in case of terminal, I don't know how for the ones who are working on the online, the browser based terminal, I don't know whether these two keys will work or not. If you use the upper key, then you'll be able to run the previous command, just the previous command. You'll simply use the upper arrow key. I mean, yeah, you know the upper arrow key, right? You can just go to the previous command, and if you use the lower arrow key, you'll come to the more recent command slowly. So that's the upper arrow key. And also in the I think I don't know about Ubuntu, but in Kali, at least, when there's autocomplete, for example, if you are trying to run a particular command and you already ran it before, then there's autocomplete. So if you use the right arrow, then you'll be able to autocomplete the command, the most recent one, starting with that. And that way you'll be able to access the whole, I mean, you'll be able to type the commands quickly. Just a minute. Yeah, till now, was it clear? The who am I command, the ID command, and the present working directory command, PWD. Could you repeat what a shell is? Okay. For now, let's just say the shell is what you interact with. Basically, you send a command to the shell, and the shell is basically the the connecting link between you and the computer. Basically, you send a command, and the shell translates the command that you send to the computer. And when the computer sends you a reply, it basically tells you, sends you it displays the output. That's it. For now, let's just say shell is that only. Shell helps you to interact with the system. How does the whoami command relate to the shell? Relate to a shell? Can you unmute? No, we can't. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. Okay, can you just retype your question? I didn't get it, I think. How does the whoami command relate to the shell? Hello. We talked about a shell and then about the whoami command. The whoami command is a command which tells the user who he or she is. Okay. When I'm talking about this shell, I think it's quite obvious that the user that is using this shell is X117, right? Now let's say you have a shell like this. Can you see the X117 here? No. Since you can't see the X117 right now, you have to do who am I. Now why in order to know who you are. Okay, so the thing is, why you have to do who am I? Because in Linux there's a hierarchy. Basically, any user, I mean all users don't have access to everything. The root user is the most privileged user, and all other users have comparatively lower access privileges and hence can't use the system. Now here's the thing, as I told you before, if you're trying to access the system from the point of view of an outsider, then when you enter the system you don't know who you are. I mean, you don't know as what system or I mean as what user you have logged in into the system. So for that you have to know which particular user you are. So for that the whoami command is useful. For now, for example, now if you somehow escalate your privileges to root and then do the whoami, then you'll confirm that you are root, and you'll be able to proceed further. If you hack any system, we try to get root access. Yes, we'll get to that in the privilege escalation sessions. And I mean, this itself is the basis of the whole thing. I mean, the privilege escalation session, and so that we can easily proceed to that one, and in the later sessions, that is not this one. Okay, so any other questions about the first three commands, who am I, id, and pwd? Yeah, okay. Okay, let's proceed then. Okay, now let's just have the whole thing done parallelly, the GUI as well as the CLI, right? As you can see, the next few commands are there for I mean this set of commands. These are just to go through the whole file system. You can create directories. You can create directories unlike folders in Windows systems, and you can create directories. You can create files, and you can navigate through these directories and files, and you can move them from here to there, copy them, and so on. So for example, you have this one here. I'll just navigate myself. First of all, the cd command. What the cd command does is, for right now, what the cd command does is change cd is change directory. You can change your directory to any other command. For example, in desktop, I'll just go to session, change directory to session. Right now I'm inside session. As you can see, here you have the desktop slash session. So this basically tells you your location with respect to your home. Now home is basically, in your case, it's slash home slash x117 in my case, and in your case it will be slash home slash whoever you are in this system. So this tilde is used to basically tell you, it's a short form of home. For example, if you do cd tilde, then you'll directly get inside home. If you do pwd, then you'll have slash home slash x117. I'll come to what that is, but for now let's move on to slash desktop slash session. Now when I'm inside slash desktop slash session, basically I'm inside this particular location. Okay, So if I do ls, here you have the ls command. If I do ls, you'll be able to see that this ls is list, and list basically lists out all the files and directories inside the whole thing. So you have basic.txt, you have crontab backup, you have tar experiment, and you have write.sh. So tar experiment, basic.txt, cron backup, write.sh. So that is the purpose of ls. Now I'm coming to ls flag l flag a, and right now I won't go to it. I'll just be using a few of the commands here. You have the second command, touch. Touch is basically used in a Linux system to create a file. So if I do touch, right now I'm in this particular location, as I told you. Touch anything, let's say qt.txt or something. Now in Linux, it's not necessary for a file to have an extension. So even if you wanted it to be something like this, it's fine. If you wanted it to be something like this or something like this, it's absolutely fine. Linux won't have any problem. You can create any files you want, as long as the file structure doesn't have any slashes in its name, because that would mean that there's a directory somewhere in it, and that might cause a few problems, but otherwise it shouldn't cause any problems. So touch qt should basically create a file. Let's do it. As you can see, we have created a file successfully called touch qt. So if we do ls again, you'll be able to see that you have qt right here, right? And also you can see it here. So I think that's not a problem. Also you have mkdir. Mkdir is there to make directories. Let's just say new directory. And if I do this again, as you can see, a new directory has been created. If I use the ls command, I'll be able to see a directory called new directory. And as I was using the cd command here, so if I use a cd command to navigate to the new directory, then I can simply get in here. And here I am inside the new directory right now. You can see it here. Or if you do pwd, that is the present working directory, you'll see you are inside desktop session new directory. Now in cd I have used two or three file paths, I mean two or three paths which are predefined by Linux. Now dot is basically the present working directory, nothing else. And dot is the parent directory. For example, for new, the parent directory is session. For session, the parent directory is desktop. For desktop, the parent directory is x117. Okay, uh, that is the main thing about the present. I mean, the parent directory. So if you do cd slash space dot dot, you have to remember this space. Okay, I mean, since dot dot itself is an argument to the cd command, you have to separate them with a space. So if you do cd dot dot, you'll just move I mean one step above in the directory structure. You'll move to the parent from the current child. You were located in the new dir directory, and you'll move to the parent. So right now if you do pwd, or you can see it right here, you have moved up by one line. So if anyone is asking any questions, okay, you people can't unmute, right? Okay, just I'll just come back to you when this part is over. And then we have the mv command. So what we do with the mv command is, let's do ls again, and we see a number of files. What mv does here is it basically moves the command. What do we in Windows system, normally what we do is we just take a file, drag it to the directory, and just put it there, right? I mean, here you can do that as well, but as I told you before, if you have something like I mean, you have access to a system remotely, then you won't be able to do these things is using a terminal. I mean, you'll be able to do these things only using a terminal, so you have to know the terminal commands, otherwise it would be difficult. So as I showed you the purpose of the mv command, what we can do now is we'll use the mv command to use to move the qwerty right there. So qwerty dot okay, there's no dot, mv qwerty to the new location. new dir. Now again I'm using the tab to autocomplete. Since there's only one new dir, if I use tab, basically it will autocomplete. Since I have, if I just write any and then press tab, that will complete new dir because it knows there are no other files starting with ne. So it will simply autocomplete. And if I click it again, you can see here the, the year called, the file called QWERTY is gone. If you check new dir now, open, you'll have QWERTY inside here. So the move command, what the move command does is it simply takes the file from there, from that particular location, and moves it to the other location, whatever, wherever you want it to go. And yeah, so for now I'll just use the move command and bring it back again. Now you can observe carefully what I'm doing. If you're confused, it's not a problem. What I can do here is, sorry, not here, move the new dir QWERTY. That's the new location for QWERTY. It's inside new dir. Okay, right now it's inside new dir. It's not inside the session. And I can bring it to the current location. As I told earlier, dot basically means the current location. So if I click back again, now we have QWERTY back. The QWERTY file has traveled back to the current location because I knew the mv command. Now then, yeah, also mv command can be used with multiple files as well. So if you're trying to move something like, if you're trying to move QWERTY and let's say write .sh to the new location, new dir, you can simultaneously move the two files. And if you try and check here, you have them here. Also you can also do use the ls command. Now we were using ls without any arguments. Now if we do ls new dir, then we'll be able to see the files and directories inside inside new dir. So okay, so right now we are in this location only, inside session. We are not inside new dir, but since we did ls new dir, we'll be able to see whatever files and directories and everything are located inside ls new dir. So what we can do here is we'll just move this file. Okay, this mv start dot. I think this will work. Yep, this worked. Okay. If you're trying to understand what exactly this command did, this was basically a, what do you call it? I think it's called the star, right? These. I don't remember it right now. I think someone from the session. If you can remind me, these were, I don't remember it right now. See, basically you can use regex in order to move the navigate through the file system or navigate through any of the commands. What this does is this basically star replaces every, zero or more characters in a file name. So, for example, if any of the files contain zero or more characters in their name, then the star when the star is expanded, it will include all the files. And with the mv command they'll be able to move everything. Now inside the new dir portion, we had all the files, and since we use the star, it took all the files inside the new dir section and moved it to this location, with which with respect to new dir was the previous location, which is session, and hence we have the files here. You can also use something like this. For example, if you're trying to move all the text files, you can do something like this: start.txt to I don't know, something, yeah, dot only. What this would do is navigate through the file system, and not the file system, the current location, and look for all the files which are of the form this.txt, which means it starts with any character, zero or more character, and it has .txt in the end. It will take all those files and move it to this current location. This not only works for mv command, this works for other commands as well. I'll come back to that. If there are doubts, I'll surely come back to it. I mean, as soon as this portion is over. Okay, so this was MV command. Then you have CP. What CP does is, instead of moving it directly, it creates a copy of the whole file. And then, okay, right now I'm not in cd dot dot to exit, and right now we are in session, and not MV CP. CP QWERTY to new dir. So you might not see any changes here, but if you try to check new dir, now we have created a copy of QWERTY. So we have a CP's copy. Basically, we copy takes two arguments. QWERTY is the initial file name, the name of the file that you try to copy, and this is the location to which you are trying to copy. Now you can do some interesting stuff. This works for CP and MV as well. So if you're trying to move a file in a different location, you have to provide the whole path to it. So that can be the relative path or the absolute path. So MV right now, since our target file is located, let's say, inside the new dir, so new dir, sorry, new dir slash QWERTY, the file wherever it's located, and then you can bring it to this particular location. And when you bring it to this particular location, what you can do is you can name the file to something else. I mean, it's not necessary to have it by the same name. So let's say we want to name it new file or something, and dot slash is basically it's located in the current location. That's why dot slash. I think even if you don't do a dot slash, this should work. So MV should move the file QWERTY inside new dir to a file called new file. So as you can see, new file has been created, and if you check new dir, there's nothing here. So that file has moved from that particular location to this location. I hope all of you are there right now. Yeah, wildcard characters. Thank you, Navarun Roy. And I forgot. That's really bad of me. CP. Then you have RM here, and you can use the RM command to remove a file. And you have to remember one thing, that RM is a really dangerous command on Linux, and if by any chance you delete any of the important files or anything, then that might cause some serious problems. So you have to use RM very cautiously. There is nothing like recycle. I mean, if you delete it in the GUI mode, there's a recycle bin, but when you're using the RM command, there's no recycle bin. So basically, you just lose the file. You can retrieve it, but it's not worth it. It's not worth the effort. It's better to write the whole thing down again. So if you're using the RM command, I can simply use the RM command to remove anything here. Let's say I'll just remove the new file. New file has been removed, as you can see here. And then RM, there are a number of tags that you can use with RM. Let's only discuss dash R and dash F for now. RM, RM dash R and dash F. What it does is basically it does recursive. A dash R is recursive. So if you have anything, for example, inside new dir, let's say we okay, I won't use the dash R and dash F command because I don't want you people to be using it, because dash RF command is a really dangerous one, because what it does is it recursively moves to the file system, goes to all the files, and tries to delete it. Dash F is force, so that it won't even prompt you. It won't ask you whether it wants to delete or not, and it will just end up deleting the whole file system. So that's RM basically. And till now, the commands that we have discussed till now, I mean cd, ls, touch, mkdir, mv, cp, rm. Any questions? Hello. Oh, you have a quick Q&A here. I'm typing ls in the home directory, but it's showing ls memory exhausted. What? How did that happen? Just a minute. So till now it's clear, right? Anyone else? Okay. Can I get a recorded video? I think they do record it here. So I hope you can. Yeah, still, if you have any questions, then yeah, feel free to ask. Aritra was I'm typing ls in the home directory, but it's showing ls memory exhausted. So are you using the virtual box or the web minel thing? Answer in the chat or general anything. I'm using web minel. Okay, yeah, I'll just do web minel. Have you created a lot of files on web minel? I think they please provide recorded video. Yeah, it will be provided. I think we upload all our recorded sessions on the YouTube channel. Yeah, fine. Uh, no, just two files. Well, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, a lot of people are using that particular account, right? So I don't know whether what else the others have created. It should work, you know. I mean, at least there are no other instances. So it was working well, but not working now. Like, I mean, to be honest, I haven't used the webminel that much because I have the virtual machine, so I don't use it that much. So for now, let's just skip the ls command for now. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem, but I don't know why exactly it's happening. Okay, let's just move to the next section. Uh, well, you have vi, cat, and echo. So first of all, let's just put in some content inside these files and anything. So first of all, let's discuss about what cat does. Okay, cat simply concatenates all the files. So you can use cat with one file only. Cat, uh, it will basically, I mean, read the file and display whatever the content of the file is, provided it can be it can be read by that particular user. So cat, what cat does is it reads the whole file and displays the, I mean, content of the file of the whole thing in on the, I mean, the terminal, the wherever you are trying to write the whole thing. So basically, if you do cat quoty, my bad, cat quoty, so this basically displays whatever you wrote inside the quoty file. So if you try to see whatever happened here, this displays the whole thing. So again, if you try to use cat with a number of files, let's say quoty write.sh, sorry, not writes, it's write.sh, then it basically concatenates the outputs of the two files. You have quoty, then you have the contents of this file, and then you have the contents of this particular file, right? I mean, the write.sh thing. So that's the purpose of quoty, cat. Then we have the echo command. What the echo does is it writes whatever you have written on the terminal. So it by default it writes down to the standard output, and hence whatever you write will be displayed here only. But you can redirect these outputs. I mean, this is not only applicable for echo, and this is applicable for all files. You can redirect this output to anything. I mean, if you try something like this, echo quoty UI slash quoty dot you have quoty, right? Quoty. This file is called quoty. Right now the content of quoty is this, as you can see. And if when I run this command, quoty, let's say when I sorry, quoty only, I'll just when I run this command, what happens is this. So right now you can't see anything, but if I switch this off and open up quoty again, sorry, now the contents of quoty has changed. I have, what have I done? I've basically used the echo command in order to write down something to quoty. I mean, completely change the outputs of quoty. Now if you do cat quoty, you'll see this is the output. So the purpose of the purpose of this particular thing is it redirects the output. So basically I whatever is the output of this particular command will be redirected to a file. So in this case the file was quoty, so this was redirected. Also, if you try to do something like astfg something and redirect it here, you can do the same, but what it does is it completely overwrites the file. So if you try to view the contents of quoty, you'll see it has asg, this thing, and there's no sign of the previous sign, previous whatever it was recorded. Now there's another operator that you can use instead of single greater than. You can use double greater than. And what double greater than does is, instead of updating the whole thing, you can append to the file. So now if you check the contents of quoty, you'll see it has been appended to the file rather than adding the whole thing. I mean, rather than updating, rather than overwriting the whole file, it has added to whatever was present initially inside the file, and then that's it. So the echo command, the output of the echo command is basically not just the echo command. A lot of commands can be redirected to use to be, I mean, written inside any file. Okay, so and then we have vi, we have the infamous vi. Now vi or vim, nowadays you have vim, but yeah, when you're inside a system I prefer to use vi. You people have used VS Code and other stuff, right? I mean, they are text editors. So vi is a text editor. Vi is the most infamous text editor of I mean, the Linux systems. And what you can do is, how you run it is simply vi quoty. You have to put in vi and then the name. As you can see, this is a text editor, and now first of all you'll have to press I in order to enter the insert mode, and then you can write down anything in here. Now if you don't press I, you won't be able to write down anything in the vi editor. Okay, and yeah, you can edit the file as much as you want, and then just when you're done, you have to press escape. As soon as you press escape, this insert disappears. Colon, uh, W for save, Q for quit, right? Now if you press it here, you'll be outside, and if you check the file again, you'll basically have the contents that you wrote here. It's basically a text editor. It's like VS Code. It's like you opening the file on VS Code or Notepad or something, writing something down, and then just saving it. That's what VI does. That's the purpose of VI. These three command, the last three command, VI, cat, and echo, are these clear? It's now working actually. I went outside my user directory when I went outside. Oh, when you went outside the user directory, I think they won't allow you to access anything else. I mean, that's for the. Will you also cover pipeline? How much time do we have actually? How to exit from VI? Colon WQ. W is for save and Q is for quit. If you do just colon Q, then you'll be able to exit without saving anything, right? Yeah, colon WQ. Okay, thanks. Uh, and then just like the greater than operator, which is used to redirect the outputs of a particular command to a file or something, you also have the pipe operator. What the pipe operator does here is the pipe operator, what it does is, you can run a command on the outputs of any of the previous commands. For example, let's say you have something like this, cat qt, and then on this one, I'm coming to what grep is. And if you try something like, aj, right, then you'll be able to do it. Basically, what it does is, the pipe operator, what it does is, it works on the output of the previous command. For example, here the previous command was cat qt. The output of cat qt was supposed to be this, and the pipe command, what it does is, it tries to work on the output of the previous command. The cat qt produces an output of this, and this thing, the okay, what happened? Oh, sorry about that. What the cat command does is, basically it displays the, output, and when we use the pipe along with it, it works on the output of the previous command, that is the cat here. Now, it can be anything, the command can be anything, and you have to work on the, if you want to work on the output of the previous command, you can use the pipe operator. So normally we use the pipe operator along with grep. This is a nice time to show what grep actually is. So what grep does is, basically uh, it searches for a particular string in a particular set of words, or in a particular output. It searches for a string or a regex, which or a regular expression. You people will learn what regular expressions are in later classes. And so if you try to do QWERTY, and you try to print out the lines wherever it has the string nm, then you'll get this line, because nm was in here. Also, you can do something like cvb or something, cvb. As you can see, basically linux itself highlights the area in which the string is actually present. So that's a very, useful thing for you. And yeah, that way you can use grep to show you whatever command can be done. Also, another important flag that you can use along with grep is -v. Works in some systems. For example, if I use cvb along with grep, what it does is, it basically lists out all the lines which does not contain cvb. For example, the first line and the last line, it does not contain cvb. Hence, grep will basically tell you which lines these are. Now, grep might not be very much useful. Might not seem very much useful for you right now, because we are dealing with smaller files. But I'll just show you, if I try to implement grep using a word list. Just a minute. Locate rock.txt. There we go. This is a word list. Word list basically contains the list of all possible passwords that a person can use. So what I'll do is, I'll try to cat out the word list, and try to grep out for all the words which contain password in it, or password 1 2 in it, let's say. So if I run the command, basically this shows you a list of all the words in the word list which contain password 1 2. Now, what word list is, right now it's not important to know what word list is. Word list is basically in most in Kali Linux, Parrot Linux, and other Linux operator, Linux distros, where you basically, which you use for hacking purposes. You have word lists in order to brute force into a system using all possible passwords. I think when you were kids, some of these passwords, password 1 2 3, password 1 2 3 4 5, these are some common password that everyone has used at some point of time. So basically, they have a predicted list of all the passwords that might be useful, and then they use this list to brute force into a system. So what we can do is what we are doing is we are basically gripping for, or basically we are taking out all the strings which have password, the string password 12 in it. So that's what we are doing. Grep is a really useful tool in order to perform operations like these. And that was pipe and grep. I have discussed grep, Ashvi. Any questions till now? Cd dot dot, yes, cd dot dot takes you to the parent directory. What if I use grep without cat? Yeah, well, squatty. Uh, I don't actually. I normally use grep with cat only, but I don't know the exact syntax. I'll have to search for it. Grep qwerty. Uh, yeah, this CVB CVB qwerty. Yeah, this works. Basically, you have to use it like this: grep, then the string that you want to search, and then the file name with path. With or without path, if it's present in the I mean the present directory, you don't need the path. Otherwise, you'll have to specify the path. Then famous rocky.txt. Yeah, it's actually it's there are lots of legends about rocky.txt, but yeah, we'll surely discuss those. Anyone else? Any other questions about grep or the pipe operator? Oh, we have Q and A's. Oh wow. No, just two files. It's working fine. How to write inside a file? How to write inside a file? Okay, there are two ways to do that. Basically, one way is basically you can use a text editor. I'm telling you only the methods using terminal, because otherwise you can use mousepad and it can easily be done. But yeah, you can. What you can do is you vi into, you use a text editor. Vi is a text editor. It's like VS Code, Notepad, etc. In Linux you have mousepad, so vi is a text editor. You can use vi to enter the file. Once you're inside the file, you can use vi, vim, and there are other text editors as well. Actually, I normally I use vi because in remote systems, in my system I'll have all the text editors that are available, but in most of the remote systems, one thing that is sure to have is vi. So even if I don't have any other text editors, vi is bound to be there. That's why I normally use vi. But there are a lot of disadvantages. Vi is the most infamous text editor that's out there. So once you're inside vi, what you have to do is you have to press I to get into insert mode. Otherwise, if you don't press I, you whatever you type, it won't respond. I mean, until unless it's a tag itself. So now once you're inside, you can perform normal operation. You can go up, you can come down, you can delete, you can write something, press enter, write. You can operate like normal operators. You can even, I mean, I think this is not available in all systems, but you can even copy paste here. Okay, what happened here? Sorry, I think I did Control Shift C. Let's Control C here, and yeah, the oh sorry, what have I done? Okay, okay. So what we can do is basically now when you are trying to copy or paste anything on terminal, it's Control Shift C, Control Shift V, not Control C, Control V. Control C basically ends the process, okay, and Control V has no meaning. Control Shift V to paste the whole thing. So in vi you can also paste it, but you can't copy in the normal method. I mean, if you try to select and Control Shift C or something and then Control Shift V, that won't work. This is the previous year that you copied, the previous clipboard. It's not working. So you can use vi in order to write into files, or there's another method, as I told you. You can redirect the output of different commands in order to in different files. So if you try to do echo something, and this when you use this, it basically appends to the file. It doesn't overwrite the whole file. So yeah, so if you do QWERTY again, you'll be able to see that you have successfully wrote this down. Now if you use a single single greater than symbol, that would basically overwrite the whole file. Right now the whatever I wrote till now will just simply vanish, and the file will have only one line in it, which will say w3 or 789op. That's how you write into files in Linux. General, we have some more questions. Thank you. Relative path is relative to the current directory. Yes. Can I download VMware in PC with a 4 GB RAM? Absolutely, you can. 4 GB RAM. I mean, don't allocate a lot of RAM to the system, and don't try to run the both the PCs simultaneously. I mean, if you're using the virtual machine, then just focus on the virtual machine. Don't do much on the other one. So I know people who have run virtual machines in just 2 GB RAM as well. So yeah, 4 GB is fine. It won't cause any problems. So I'm asking an off-topic question. When we use Kali in a VM, why do we need to use a separate Wi-Fi adapter? Why can't it just use a host adapter simultaneously? Okay, I don't know this one. I'm asking. When we use a Kali VM, why do we use a separate Wi-Fi adapter? Okay, Wi-Fi adapter. Oh, that's for the. I mean, you use a Wi-Fi adapter when you're performing attacks on, I mean, WAP, or when you're trying to brute force any Wi-Fi, any routers or anything. That's the only time when you use a Wi-Fi adapter. You don't have to use a Wi-Fi adapter like that. I mean, separately. Normally, it's recommended to not use the to use NAT, not bridged adapter, because bridged adapter basically gives you I mean, that way I'll have to get into a lot of networking stuff. Bridged adapter basically gives you a different IP, a completely different IP for your machine, and that way different. So your machine has a different identity. So if an attacker tries to get into your machine, then since all your machines have different identities, then if he gets into one of your machines, it can also get into the other machines, the proper machines. So that can cause a lot of problems. That's why it's recommended to use NAT, not bridged adapter. But if you're asking about a completely different host adapter, different NIC or different network card or something, then it's not necessary until unless you're trying to hack Wi-Fi's for attacks only. Yeah. Wi-Fi adapter can be connected to one device at a time, so the host adapter cannot be disconnected from the host visual. Okay, got it. Are there packages we can download which can give the Kali Linux functionalities in a normal distro like Ubuntu? You can do that, or you can simply download Kali Linux. I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to. I mean, see, there are no. There's nothing extra in Kali Linux. I mean, it's not built in a different way in order to accommodate for hackers or anything. It just has some extra tools. For example, you have some extra word lists, you have some extra tools, you have some extra networking stuff, and all that installed inside Kali Linux. And so it's not necessary to have a system like that, because whenever you need a tool, you can easily install it in Linux systems. Installation is really easy. We'll get into that part as soon as possible. So are there packages we can download? So whenever you need a package, for example, you're working on your machine and suddenly you realize that you need a particular word list to in order to brute force into a system. So you simply go to that GitHub repository, you just git clone that uh, that whole repository, and you have the necessary tools and everything. So it's nothing, I mean, new. So you can always do that. Which is the best distro for daily usage? Yeah, use Ubuntu. It's fine. Thanks. Well, then, what else? I think I don't know how many. How much time do we have actually? Anyone, the organizers, Sanjana, horned up, anyone there? Yeah, sure. No problem. I have only 19 connections. I'll really want to increase it. I think you missed Aritro's question. Is there any disadvantage in using Linux in a VM, excluding performance limit? Disadvantage, yes. As I told you, you don't have a separate network interface card. So if you're trying to get into things like Wi-Fi hacking and stuff, then that might be a disadvantage, because otherwise, right now, since you're just getting into the whole thing, I mean, you don't need to utilize any. I mean, you don't use any of the. I mean, you won't face any problems. That's it. Is there a disadvantage in using Linux VM? Thanks. I think you missed your first question. Can I connect to you on LinkedIn? We're out of time. What the fuck? Okay. How much time did we have actually? Can I get you LinkedIn? We had an hour. Fuck. I'll just go through the commands right now, and well, vi cat by apt pip and these ones. Okay. Since we are doing the basic commands, we don't have to use these. And okay, apt and pip. Apt is just there to for the apt is there to make your job easy for as far as the installation of packages, the update and everything is concerned. I won't do the upgrade and update right now. See, it's not as annoying as the Windows updates, but still, yeah, it takes time. So apt can be like, if you simply do, I was telling you how easy it is to install packages when I was discussing about the Kali Linux and other distros thing. So if you do apt update, you'll just update your I mean, whatever's necessary. I mean, it will just recursively check through all your binaries that you have, and if any of them require an update, it will just update. Same for upgrade. You can just do a apt upgrade, and everything can be done. And then you have install and remove. Apt install and remove, as I told you before. For example, you want to use something like a new package or something called, let's say the package is called a new package. So all you have to do, I mean, most of the times in the GitHub repository, there'll be in the readme file, there'll be something which will tell you how to install the package. So just apt install the package. Normally it's just apt install the package name, and you can easily install it. Also, for apt remove, it's just apt remove package name, and that's it. That's about it. That's installation and removal of packages. And yeah, we were talking about chmod. That's apt. And pip is, I think, how many of you have used Python? I think a lot of you have used Python. Have you tried to install any of the libraries? I mean, any of the modules? Python user here. Yeah, thanks you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So you have installed any of the libraries? I mean, the new ones. Yeah, using pip3, right? So basically, you can use pip or pip3 to install new modules and libraries in Python. So what pip does is basically it installs the new libraries. For example, if you try to see, NumPy is a really important module for mathematical calculations, and especially when it comes to yeah, machine learning stuff. But and there are other libraries as well. So pip can be used, pip3, these can be used in order to install packages for Python. And that's installation and update as far as Linux systems are concerned. Then you have pip. I just discussed pip because you have to use a lot of, I mean, most of the scripts that you'll be writing is going to be either I mean, bash or Python scripts. That's why I discussed pip. But I'm not discussing the other ones right now. So for the other installation packages, just a word of advice: whenever command is not running, you can do two or three things. One is, let's say this is the command, flag argument, right? And if you try to run it, it's not running. So there can be two or three reasons. Command not found can be simply because, let's say, I mean, that particular binary doesn't exist in your system. So in that case, you'll probably have to install it. So obviously you can copy the whole thing and just search Stack Overflow, but most of the times it's because the binary that you want to use right now is not installed in your whole system. And then another reason can be you don't have the necessary permissions. So in your normal system, this won't work for the webinar users because you are really underprivileged users there. So just use the sudo command in order to, along with the command, and it should work. uh, okay, I don't want to use it right now. So these are the few fixes that you can use always. And I mean, discussing sudo right now might be a problem, but for now I'll just discuss chmod. Before chmod, you might have noticed that I miss a certain part of ls-al, so we'll have to discuss that first. uh, when we were doing ls, you can see all the files here. Now ls stack a is basically listing out all the files. For example, you can create a few files which won't be visible to the normal user, I mean, until unless you change the settings. So let's say we call it hidden or something. I'm not good with nomenclature actually. I give really shitty names to the files. Okay. Now, as you can see, you can't see anything here. The file is not visible. So if I do ls here, again the file won't be visible to you. But if I do ls stack a here, as what happened to the file? Yeah, you can see the file hidden is present here. So the file is not visible in the file system, and if you do normal ls, it won't be visible. But I mean, if file starts with dot, and this is how basic you can write the files like these. I mean, in order to, you have the, how many of I think a lot of you have used the I mean, if you have push repositories in git, you have the dot git ignore file, right? It's not visible in the normal systems, but it's just there. So the file exists, the file is completely okay, but normally if it starts with a dot, it won't be visible. It won't, you won't be able to see the file in the normal system, you won't be able to see it in the ls command. But if you do ls stack a, then you'll be able to see the files, all the dot files, the dot file. I already discussed what dot and dot is. Dot is current location, dot is the parent. So dot for if we do dot on session, we'll basically use the desktop, we'll reach the desktop. Now another important command is ls stack l. ls stack l, if I run this, this will basically give me the file permissions, the owner name, and everything for all the files. Now these ones right here, these are the file permissions. Okay, these are the file permissions. I don't know what this is. This is the name of the owner of the file, this is the name of the group to which the file belongs, and these are information about when it was created. This is, I think this is the I mean, it's related to the size of the file. This is information about when the file was created and everything. But what's really important is this part. This is basically the owner of the file. This is the group to which the file belongs, and we'll discuss owner and group in a later session because I think we are running out of time. And this is the part which is really important. So let's just discuss this for now. The first part tells you whether it's a file or a directory. It has to, if it's a D, then it's a directory. As you can see here, new dir is a directory, tar experiment is a directory, so it's a D. Then comes the 123 123 and 123. By default, I mean, the most ideal situation will be rwx rwx rwx. And what this is, the first set of 3 bytes, basically it specifies the permission for for the owner of the file, right? For example, here the owner of the file is x117, and This specifies the permission for the owner of the file. R is read, W is write, X is execute. So the owner of this file can read the file, write to the file, and execute the file. Similarly, the group to which the file belongs, everyone in that group can read the file, write to the file, execute the file, read, write, execute. For example, if you pick up this particular file, then the owner of the file can read, write, execute. The group to which the file belongs, everyone in that group can only read the file, not write, not execute. And similarly, the person, any outsider who's neither the owner nor belongs to the group of the file, can only read, not write or execute in the file. So these are normal file permissions, and what we can do, what you can observe here is basically if you specify bytes for all these different locations. 1, 2, 3. So is this okay? I think it's not visible, right? I'll just show it here only. So the first three lines specify the permissions for the users. So if you have the R bit set, then it has to be 1, otherwise it has to be 0. Similarly for the W, similarly for this one, for the X bit. So RWX, this would mean 110. RW dash, this would mean 110. Now what is 110 in binary? 110 in binary is, I think, it's 6, right? Yeah, 4 plus 2, 6. That's basically 6. This is 100, and so is this 100. So this is 100, so that will be 4, and this will be 4. So if you want to set a file permissions of uh, read write, only read write for the owner of the file, so that will be 6. This is yeah, we'll just do QWERTY. Yeah, if you're trying to set up permissions like this, then will be 6 chmod 6 44 QWERTY. So if you do ls stack li again, you'll see that you have set nothing has changed because we haven't changed anything. But let's say we are trying to set up permissions like all permissions available for the owner of the file, only read and write permissions for the group of the sorry the group to which the file belongs, and executable permission for everyone else. The permissions sound ridiculous, but it's just, to show you how it works. So that should be read write for the first guy. So that should be 110, which is 6. Uh, read write execute for the first one. So that's 111. That is 7. Only read and write for the second one. So that's 1 and 1. So that's going to be 2, was that 110 basically. And only executable permissions, that is 001 for the other guy. So that is 001 is basically 1. And if you try QWERTY and do ls stack la again, as you can see, the first person, the owner of the file, can read, write, execute. The group to which the file belongs can read, write, and just read and write. And the other person can only, do nothing. Like practically he can, yeah, he can only execute the file. So that's how you can change the file permissions. That's for you. That's chmod. Chmod dash r can be used to change the file permissions for each and every file in that location. So chmod dash r, and if you do 666 or something, then you'll basically end up changing the file permissions. I won't do it because right now here I have the cron tab backup. I don't want to affect the permissions of the cron tab backup. I've changed the cron tab to show a few things in one of the later sessions, and yeah, this is it. And yeah, that's about chmod. And what about chown? We have chown, right? Yeah. Chown can be used to change the ownership of the file. For example, here you have And, what I can do is chown um, username. Let's just use root and quality. Changing ownership. What what happened? Okay, as I told you, since you're facing a problem here, try doing sudo. That's one of the basic things which works. I don't know. Okay, there we go. I think it's successful. Now, if you see earlier when we did ls tackle, the owner of the qwerty file was x117, and now since we have run the command, right now the owner of the qwerty file is root. Uh, so that way you can use chown to you know change the whole thing. So basically, the command is chown username file name. Similarly, you can also do chown username user group and then file name. This will basically change the username as well as the group of the command. You might have observed that once I provided the password, then for a while I won't have to provide it again and again. That's quite an advantage, and it can be a disadvantage as well in some scenarios. Now you can see that I have also changed the name of the group. Okay, here the group was the same x117. Now I've successfully changed the name of the group. So that's about it. That's with sudo. That's chown. And about sudo and su, all you have to do is first of all, any questions about chown? Oh, wow, six. Number of the beast 666. Yep. Actually, it's the number of the devil, I think. Right? There's a file size in bytes, I guess. Yeah, should be. Any questions about chon and chmod? I don't think so. No questions. Okay. So you basically use those commands to change the ownership of the file. Sudo and su. Sudo is a really important command. What sudo does is it helps you to run a command temporarily as root. Now, when you use sudo, for example, let's say I am doing who am I. The sole purpose of the who am I command is to tell me, the person, the user's name, the current user's name. So when I'm doing who am I basically get x117. What I do is if I run sudo who am I, so basically I'm running the who am I command along with the sudo keyword. If I do it again, now I'll get root. Why? Because the who am I command is being run as root. So what happens here is basically root is the most privileged user in the system, and when you for the WebML users, don't even try using the sudo command because yeah, you can try. I don't think they'll do any. They'll have any issues, but yeah, I don't think you'll be able to use the sudo command there because sudo basically temporarily gives you root access, and even temporary root access can be dangerous. If you know how to exploit it, that can be really dangerous. So sudo command is used like that. So if you run something like sudo, uh, yeah, I won't be able to discuss bin bash today, so I don't think it's a good idea. But what sudo command basically does is it helps you to run any command as the root user. So whenever you are not being able to run a particular command or you're getting errors or something, that's a lot of times those errors arise because of the permission issues. So in that case, you can always run the sudo command. Use the sudo keyword. Since you have installed the VM, then I think you'll have access to all the commands using sudo. Like if you do sudo tackle, that basically helps you to know which commands you can run. In my case, I can run all the commands as sudo. So in restricted environments, that's not always possible. So you'll have to look into a number of things. Also, you have the su command. su command, what su command does is it basically changes the name of the user. I mean, changes the user. It su is switch user basically. So if I try to, I mean, yeah, yesterday only I created a new user called new user, and if I try to change to new user, okay, there we are. We have already changed to new user. Actually, new user doesn't have a proper bash shell. I mean, it has only, I mean, new user has only bin sh for him. So right now you are not getting a proper tty shell. You have a bin bash. So if I try to run bin bash or something, yeah, you'll get a decent shell. Now you have the new user shell. If you do who am I, you're new user, right? So that's about it. So su command, what it does is basically it helps you to change your username to something, and just exit again, and yeah. So what su command does is it helps you to change the username to something, I mean someone else, and provided you know the password of that user, you'll be able to easily change your username. So that's about it about the su command. So these were the basic commands that we were going to discuss. Any other doubts? No questions. Root sudo doesn't work in webminal. Yeah, sudo won't work in webminal because uh, if sudo work, that will, I mean, that will basically give you a lot of important privileges. You won't be able to run sudo in webminal because that will give you a lot of privileges. हाँ भाई, लगना चाहिए. कभी कभी लगता है पुलिस रूट है. As root, if you want to become root, like in VM and VirtualBox, basically simply run bin bash or something. As long as you know your password, you'll just become root. But the idea is, I mean, preferably don't use the root shell, because you can also simply su into root, but for that you'll have to know the password of root. And recently VirtualBox has changed a few of the settings, and right now it's really difficult to know the password of the root. And I tried it once or twice, but I don't have the password. So yeah, sudo su, yeah, sudo su works too, or simply su root, whatever, that's fine. Yeah, we have some questions in Q&A. Under the ls tackle, what is the number that is displayed just before the month of creation file? I missed that part. I think that's related to the size of the file. Ls tackle again. I think you're talking about this number. Yeah, right? Are you there, Orithrobos? No. Yes, okay. uh, I think it's related to the file in some way, and I mean, I think it's related to the size in some way, size in bytes or something. 796, I think that should be it. And it's not the important parts are these, okay? Just focus on these parts. This is the name of the user to which the file belongs, the group to which it belongs, and these are the file permissions, as I explained earlier. So yeah, it uses ZSH. It depends on the shell. Okay, I think I missed a lot of questions. I'm typing ls in the file. Are commands in Mac terminal different from Linux ones, since both Mac and Linux use it? Most of the commands, I mean, a lot of the commands are same because yeah, they are Unix based, as you said. It depends on the shell, I guess. Mac does not use ZSH. So see, most of the commands will be same. Bash, ZSH, sh, they use more or less the same commands, and they don't have much of a difference. Under the ls tackle, what is number? That's it. For DMs. Okay, what's the question? Possible implementation. If possible, could we just use it? Good bash. It's a minimal Linux terminal that runs on Windows, and yeah, fine. I don't know about it, but yeah, I think you can do it. I think so. If possible, could we use them in? Oh, that's it, right? Continue with crontabs, SUIDs. Yeah, sure. We'll do it in the next session, not right now. Ayushita. What's this one? Spanish forever. In Windows, you can try WSL if you want. You can also try WSL on Windows. Yeah. Okay then. Thank you, everyone. That's it for now. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Signing off.